Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Be Healed Web Show. I am your host, Camille R. Perry, and it is season 6. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that share button, whatever you need to do. I'm so happy that the Lord has blessed us to do 6 seasons of this show. We are in our 4th year, closing out our 4th year. I know somebody's like, well, how do you have 6 seasons in 4 years? Listen, I ain't never did this before. I just knew that I had at one point 42 episodes in one season. I said, I think it's time for a season 2. So that's how that happens, okay? So we were at episode 39, closing out season 5, episode 39. So I'm going to try to do better and tighten them up where seasons won't go into the 30s. We'll kind of like about the 25th mark, we'll start cutting them down, going to a new season. Trying to figure it out. But good evening, each and every one of you. I am so grateful. To God be the glory for the great things He has done, is doing, and will do. Let me just tell you how awesome it is. And I'm going to get ready to introduce our guest on tonight. Be Healed Web Show, literally 4 years ago. I just thought I was going to come on here and just try to speak up and tell people about the Be Healed Women's Conference and Retreat. But Lord knew He had other things planned. And here, season 6. If you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can click on the Be Healed Web Show playlist, and you can see all 200 some odd videos of various people, the late great Charles Perkins, and my own baby, my beloved mommy's girls, Sapati Marie Tuya. She was interviewed on this show. Had countless. I mean, when we done the Power of Vulnerability, had people like Brother Octavio, who during his time in the Marines was hit by IED, and different ones sharing. I've had the Power of Vulnerability series with the Man Panel, had the From Religion to Relationship series. It's been so much. Had Devon Johnson from Houston on. Like, it's been Pastor Gary Parks. I've had some amazing conversations with people. If you know me in real life, which I think y'all should, because I'm really dope. Like, if you don't like me, you just got bad taste. But nevertheless, if those who know me in real life know that I love talking to people. I love meeting new people. I love entreating and just, hanging out, having fun. And so this season is no different. And I think it's so appropriate to kick it off, which she's been on here before. She's been a guest before, but before I had her and her husband, Brother Chris Sutton. They came and they shared about blended families and finding love again. And when I tell you, that episode alone is so heavy, it's so good, it's so rich, it's so fun, it's so real. Why not kick off season 6 with one of the realest ones that I know? She is not only a wife, not only a mother, she's the oldest child of 3 amazing children that are grown children. They all have amazing things being done in life. She is the proud daughter of I call him Uncle and Auntie, Ulysses and Ola Henderson, who are all great giants in our family, in our life, in our community. She's a proud life member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Let's see, she was my first babysitter who was non-family and like blood family, who watched me, and we've been rocking ever since. She's someone that I look up to. And she's a mother, she's a sister, she's a friend, she's a boss lady, entrepreneur, and she can bowl a 300 like nobody's business. Like, there's not too many things that Adrienne can't do. And if there's things that Adrienne can't do, it's because she doesn't want to, or she just hasn't done it yet. And I'm so grateful that she stopped by to kick off season 6 and just to share and impart. Because again, still in that power of vulnerability, but all, just share from your heart. Let's talk. Let's rap. Let's get into it. And so I'm so grateful to have her on tonight. So if y'all could be so kind, clap it up, like, share, comment below, get engaged as I bring the Dodger fanatic. the, she's already rocking, making sure she plays. Like I'm get, she loves me because she's on here and not watching the game completely. It's on in the background. But Adrienne, good to see you, big cousin, sister. Love you so
Hey,
much. How are
hey,
you?
excellent. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Mom is watching. She's not supposed to be texting on her phone, so I'm hoping my mother is using
Hey,
her.
Sister P.
Yeah, she talking about hey. She better be using her voice recognition. We done told her about this, but so happy to have you on tonight. And so, can you tell the folks who don't know you? I know I hit a little bit from bio and just personal experience. I didn't even mention how much you can sing. How like nobody can sing. There's certain songs where I tell people you can't sing that song. That's Adrian's. And to
Stop
me,
it.
when it comes to you, he keeps on doing great things. I'm like LaShawn Pace and Adrian's the only one I want to hear sing that.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm like, and before the end of the night, who knows? We'll see if the Dodgers pull it off.
Well, I am really, really happy to be here with you. I'm happy to be here with you. Um, I'm not going through my bio. It's a lot. But I am happy to be first and foremost a woman of God. I am really happy. That means more to me than anything. I'm a proud mommy. I'm a proud wife, a proud daughter, definitely a proud big sister, and I am a boss lady. I am a boss lady. I run things for the County of Los Angeles, Department of Health Services. Whoop, whoop. But just happy to be here with you, just to chop it up with you and you know impart some nuggets into you and your fan base.
Yes, listen, like Lord, from her lips to your ears, God, fan base, amen. But one of the things that when we were talking, and I was saying, dang, it'll be good to have you on the show. We were kind of discussing, we've all grown up in church,
Mm-hmm.
um, been PKs all of our lives. And I asked the question, like, if there was something that you were passionate about, you wanted to share, what would that be? And you said,
I said empowerment of young ladies.
yeah. Yeah. And
Empowerment.
why is that in this season in 2024, why is that so important? And what is your take on that?
Well, because back when my mom was growing up,
Hmm.
it was um you got married to a man. You possibly worked, but most of it was you just took care of the home. You had children, you took care of the home, took care of your husband. That's what it was. And it was, although I had a great growing up, and my mother did not follow in what the norm was for her time.
Right.
I saw both of my parents work and work together.
Hmm.
So for me, what I did not see in the church was enough of empowerment of young women,
Yeah.
telling them that it's fine to get married. However, you need to have your own. Hey,
Yes.
sissy, you need to have your
Yeah.
own. You
Yes.
know, you. It's nothing wrong with you working, going to school,
Yeah.
working, and having your own. And then
Hmm.
when you get married, then whatever, you guys come together, that's
Hmm.
a bonus. But you shouldn't have to be reliant totally on your spouse or on a man to get what you need in life. No, that's a no. That's a definitely a no.
Now,
Yes.
I just want to go on record. This is an open platform. We keep it real and 100 because we know Jesus said in his
100.
word, the truth shall set you free or make you
Yes, it
free.
will.
Now, not bashing not bashing the institution,
Hmm.
the respected church fellowship, because I do believe that people only know to do things what they know of. Whatever their limited
Correct.
framework of life is what they do. But when you mentioned about empower, I'm like, oh, they empowered us to sew,
Hmm.
to be able to cook, be a homemaker.
Hmm.
And now I'm gonna tell you, I can't sew or stitch to save my life. If I could sew or stitch, I would have a weave in my head right now. Be very clear, okay? Because
But you just pay somebody to do it for you, my love.
the end of the week, the end of the week. But you know, I think when you're talking about that empowering, it was again, and this is why I believe people who feel negatively towards God is what bothers me, because of what their experience has been in church. They now think God is that way. So can you
Hmm.
kind of talk about your experience even the more, and how you remain, like you said, a proud woman of God first and foremost? Because how did you balance that?
Well, I think for me, I've always grown up in church,
Hmm.
and I think having that home family balance
Mm.
when I was growing up, that helped, because it helped me not to resent the church, because I have friends who are PKs, they don't want to have nothing to do with church,
Yeah.
because although we were at church a lot, we still went on family vacations. We still, and I accredit that to my parents.
Yeah.
There was a balance there. The same thing with even wearing pants, or wearing, that was my mom. My mom brought that balance. She
Yeah.
brought that balance because my dad was like, we sanctified, but my mom brought that balance. And so I think for me, um I I just grew to appreciate church even more when I got older, because I understood it more. Okay.
Yeah.
I understood what the word, because when I got it for myself, I
Mhm.
understood what the word was saying. So I could appreciate some of those old teachings that I got when I was
Mhm.
a little girl.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that with the balance that we had, it didn't turn me away from church. Now, I might have tried when I was in college trying to do my own little thing.
Right, of
But
course.
but at the end of the day, I still found my hips in church.
Mhm.
So, I never just left church. So I think that had a lot to do with me being as active as I am in church today.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with that. One of the things when you said about the balance, bringing that balance in, and I'm so grateful for your parents. You know, when we celebrated Uncle's 80th birthday,
Hmm.
just being able to dote on him and let him know,
Hmm.
like, that was his 80th or his 75th.
His 80th.
It was his 80th. Okay, I was like, was it
Hmm.
80th? He's young,
Yeah,
so
his
okay.
80th.
Don't look a day over 60. Um, but it was for me, his influence helped my parents, and your
Hmm.
mom and dad has helped my parents in helping us to have those family vacations. But I want to
Hmm.
talk a little about the balance. So oftentimes we quote the scripture and not always in context, because that's how quoting works. It's
Hmm.
not always given in context. It's just a
Hmm.
verse, a snippet.
Hmm.
So wise women teach younger women how to be wise, or older women, rather, older women teach younger women how to be wise, over in Titus. Okay.
Hmm.
And people have applied that to say, I want to teach you how I do it, therefore you must do it.
But what if the woman's not wise? Even
Let's
though
talk
she, I'm just saying.
about this is why we're having the discussion. So because we're in this split, because
Mhm.
we're in the generation where we're not the young folks in the church anymore, and we're
Mm-hmm.
not the seasoned saints. We're right here in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so we're able to have both understandings of
Mm-hmm.
what, Bad Bunny be talking about, but also what James Cleveland was singing about. Right? We have that
Mm-hmm.
balance. How do you ensure that you're empowering, and what is your empowerment approach with the young women that you interact with on your job, in church, in your sorority, etc.?
Um, I think for me, my approach is to meet them where they're at.
Mm,
I meet them where they're at, and then show them by example.
okay.
Show them, but you got to meet them where you can't be way up here, and they're here, and you talking down to them because you're gonna lose them.
Yeah.
You got to meet them. You got to meet them where they're at, and I think that meeting them where they're at, and then showing them, hey, look at what I'm doing. You could do the same, and then help them. Give them tools. Don't just tell them. Show them. Give them tools so that they can don't like they say, don't catch the fish for them.
Hmm.
Show them how to fish so that they can catch their own fish.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Okay. I can show you how to be cute, how to be demure, how to be cutesy, how to be demure. But I need you to have, you need to do that for yourself. I don't want, and I think a lot of people think that empowerment equates to emulation.
Mm.
Mm-mm,
Mm.
mm-mm. No,
Yeah.
I don't want no little mini me's. I got one. That's enough. I don't want a
Yeah.
lot of little Adrians. No, I want you. I want to give you the tools, and I want you to be empowered and to be the best you that you can be.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Yes, and your mini me, Danielle, she's an amazing young woman. I
Hmm.
definitely don't know how she got as old as she did. I feel like, wasn't you just pregnant last week? Like, what do
I
you
know.
mean what do you mean she in her 20s? What you talking?
Yeah.
No, she was just in the womb yesterday.
Hmm.
Um, but when you mention about not emulation,
Hmm.
I won't ask that question just yet. I'll save that. But because people think that imitation is the best form of flattery, people have subscribed to some unhealthy practices.
Hmm.
Can you think of an unhealthy practice that you saw growing up that you said, I will never?
You're gonna get me in trouble.
Listen, the question came
Okay,
out
are you
before I
talking about in church? Is that
we'll
what we're
just
talking?
we'll keep
Just
it
in
general.
general?
We'll keep it general. Keep it general.
Okay.
That'll be better. We'll keep it
An
general.
unhealthy practice.
Hmm.
Mm. I that I saw a lot of my friends subscribe to picking up the gentlemen that they were going out on dates with. Where we do that at? No, no, no. We don't do that. You let them come and pick you up. And
Right.
don't be honking. This ain't no Uber. You come to my door, ring my doorbell.
Hmm.
We're not doing that, but I saw them doing that and I'm like, well, first of all, Elder Henderson wasn't happening at
No.
his household. But I saw that happening a whole lot. And I even see it now and it bothers me. And I see it happening with old women, my age, 50, almost 60 years old. And I'm like, do you not? Mm, that's one thing I just can't. Now, it's one thing if the gentleman is in between cars or he's, the car's in the shop. But
Hmm.
to not have a car and be cool with someone constantly picking you up, no, ma'am, no ham, no turkey. No, we're not doing that. Mm-mm, mm-mm, no, that's a pet peeve of mine.
Okay.
That's a pet peeve. And another pet peeve is to see, and I've seen this at, because I like to watch people. And sometimes I'll just, while I'm doing getting gas, I'm just watching people. And to see a female come get gas
Mhm.
and the man sitting in the car and she out pumping gas. I was like, what's really? That's what we doing?
Mhm.
That's what we're doing? Okay. Yeah, no.
So,
That's not what I teach. That's not what I subscribe to.
so what I hear you say for someone who might be tuning in and they're half watching the Dodgers, they're half maybe on their phone hearing, and they're like, "Oh, here we go." The man need to do all this stuff.
No, no,
They
no.
just bash on men.
No, not at all. Not at all. I love men. Oh, not at all. But I
Mhm.
think that if you allow it, they'll do it. There's
Facts.
certain things you just can't allow.
Hmm.
It is what it is. There's certain things you shouldn't allow.
Yeah.
You gonna allow me to come and slap you in your face?
Nope.
Absolutely not. So why wouldn't you allow the man to be a man? And a lot of times they want to be,
Hmm.
but you don't let them because your pants is got you want to be you want to be the man.
Hmm. So let's kind of dive in this, and I really in my head I said we're not going to talk about it, right? Because um oh, you don't want to get canceled, but how can I get canceled when I haven't even been subscribed to? So I'm not going to worry about that, but I think it's the truth. The notion, do you believe that the notion that there's a lot going on social media? Let me say that
Mhm,
there's been a
mhm,
lot of conversations, even recently, where Trina, the rapper Trina, was giving remarks of how handling money in her home, and how
mhm,
she made it very clear that her husband has to ask her before he can spend any money because she's the mega breadwinner. Then conversely, on another portion, if anybody follows the shade room, anybody follows any of these social spots, all
mhm,
this stuff is showing. Then you have the narrative of where there's this, a man has to do this, he has to be making this, he has to, where the people are confusing expectations, gender roles, norms, right? As well as with comments. I feel like there's been so many conversations that people are having, and it seeps into the church because people are people,
okay, so
right?
let me tell you this. Don't ask for nothing you can't offer.
Thank you.
Don't ask for nothing. Don't come telling me, oh, I need to have a man making six figures and you making 20,000 a year. And I need a man that got his own house and you living with your mama. If you don't knock it off, don't ask for what you can't offer yourself. I can ask for it because I can offer it all. Okay.
Yeah.
So don't do that. That's not right. Don't
Mhm.
ask for what you can't give yourself.
That's fair. That's fair. I think
Now,
that,
as
yeah.
far as the that money situation, Trina, that's her husband.
Hmm.
If that's how they run their household, that's how they run their household. I mean, I can't hate on that. That's how they run their household. I can't. But I do think that it's a double standard because if a guy say that, everybody up in arms.
Hmm.
Turnabout is fair play.
Hmm.
Okay. If you're married and you guys have that understanding, because I know a couple that's how they run their household and they've been married for years. That's just how they run their household. He
Hmm.
want to do something, he got to go get a permission slip from his wife. That's how they run their household.
To each his own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, Adrian can't get no permission slip to go buy a pair of underwear or to buy a new outfit or to go buy me some shoes. I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I know that. But see, the thing is, when you're dating, You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with the person you're in the relationship with.
Hmm.
If you don't divulge what you're expecting and say what you need to say to keep them, you're not being real.
Yeah.
You're not being real. You have to lay out, and then at the same token, you're laying out what you're saying, what you want. You can't be mad, and you got to listen to what they say and what they want.
Right.
It goes both ways.
I remember you and Chris when you were talking about communication strategies.
Mhm,
When you all were on the show 2 years ago, maybe almost 3 years ago, actually.
mhm,
And you both were sharing about how, or he stated how he understood that he couldn't just say anything to you. He had to
mhm,
like come like, wait a minute. She's requiring this of me. Let me approach differently.
mhm,
When you mentioned about empowering young women, because there's so many narratives that are being cascaded, whether in social media,
mhm,
in life itself, or even that spills over into the church.
mhm,
And you mentioned about showing, teaching by example. How can we, in this day and age where the climate is so sensitive,
mhm,
it's a different kind of world that we're living in, where we
mhm.
can help people to have a balanced understanding of, what would be that ingredients that you would say for them to have a balanced understanding? I know one of the points you said, don't offer anything, don't request something that you can't offer. But what
Mhm.
other pivotal requirements would you say would be a main ingredient for someone to know how to be truly empowered as a young woman growing up in this world,
Well,
how to truly be empowered?
I think you need to know and be honest with who you are.
Mm.
You need to be honest with that. And if you really don't know who you are, let's keep it real. Then maybe you ought not be dating until you get that together.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And definitely, I think there's so many examples. There's so many different examples out there of, um, you know, what should and shouldn't be done. You know, I think that the more what I've tried to do with my daughter is to empower her to dream big.
mhm,
There's no such thing as can't be done. No, you always try, because if you don't try, you don't know. And also to be honest with who you are and what you really want in a relationship. And it might mean you might have to pass some of these jokers up
yeah.
because you don't want to dumb down yourself because somebody else can't measure up.
Facts. Facts. Well, they say you don't have to, if you have to dim your light for someone else to shine, you're in the wrong room.
Look, this is my thing. You cannot compete where you don't compare.
That's fair. That's
And
fair.
that comes from, I ain't gonna even take her shine. This is a lady I follow on TikTok. I love this lady. And she says it about her. She has arguments about her grandkids with her kids. And I get
Mm,
that too, because the grandparents turn into something different when they so the son is always, hating on the grandkids, and she was like, don't compete where you can't compare. It's like, that is so true. That is
yeah.
so true.
You know, if so especially with the young women, I think about that because I've shared with some young women at our church and just in the
Mhm,
sorority life, mentorship and
mhm,
different programs. And you one of the things you said about knowing who you are and having that identity.
mhm,
And of course, we believe, as believers, we subscribe that our identity is truly in Christ, and we don't know ourselves until we come into relationship with Him. But even looking at, and let me not say but even in looking at our landscape in the church and in our worlds around us, was there anyone that stuck out to you growing up and even now that you would like to just highlight or recognize, where you say, you know what, I see that they have grown, or someone that you're seeing radiate those right not I want to say norms or ideals, but they're not in that status quo. They're not following after the culture, but they're pursuing the right thing. Like, let me give an example. Um, Mama Two, she's on the line tonight. Dolores Jackson, Patricia Henry, um, Mary Stewart. I called them my golden girls when we first started, when they
Mhm.
started coming to Three Ps. These
Mhm.
women are like additional Naomi's in my life.
Mhm.
And these women, they're, I mean, they put their hands to Mama Two, Dolores Jackson, the author.
Mhm.
Mama Patricia, she's not on tonight, but Mama Patricia, for she's been married almost 50 years and devoted her time and worked, did what she needed for her family, provided, but she makes sure to take care of home, but dressed to the nines. Like, everybody has their different, but you see them growing and evolving, knowing that, well, I didn't really fit into that. Like, I still like this, like, not trying to adopt norms and cultures of yesteryears or older people or older saints. Okay, so they have a balance. They're able to teach younger women like myself how to be wise. Okay, because they showed their wisdom. But I also look at how, even like my mom, growing up in that Reformation, the denomination, where you weren't supposed to wear pants, you weren't supposed to, it was always so many rules and regulations, but have evolved to a place to have fun, to dance, to enjoy music.
Mhm.
So I always like to highlight them. But
Mhm.
on the other side, with young women who know how, because older women have to be empowered to break away from what the traditions of their past, and then younger women being able to break into themselves and not follow the traditions of current society. So is there any woman, whether past or present, you would like to highlight or feature and say, I saw that and it helped me be who I
Just
am today?
one.
Name as many as you, whoever you want.
Okay,
I
so
gave you
I'm
four.
gonna start with the obvious. My mama,
There you
Mrs. Ola Mae Henderson. I mean, I saw her, just her strength. This is still October and it's breast cancer
go.
awareness month.
Yep.
And my mama is a 30-year survivor, 30 plus year survivor.
Yeah.
And I was there with her when they told her the news. She
Yeah.
took it like a G. I've never seen anybody, and I've worked in healthcare basically all my life. And I have never seen anybody take this like take it like that. I had not ever seen that.
Yeah.
I mean, when they told us that she had breast cancer, I was ready to fall out on that floor. I was ready to really cut up. But I couldn't because I'm looking at her and she was like, "So what are we gonna do? Okay, what's the next steps?" I was like, "That man just told you got," and she just straight face. So
Mm,
I would that's where I start. Okay.
yeah.
And then I would say my sister, because she's
Deputy
a
Warren.
boss.
Yeah, Warren. Yes.
She keeps it real. I look at her, even though I'm the oldest, but I do look up to her because she is an awesome individual. I mean, not just she's a boss lady, she's a warden, a deputy
Mhm.
warden, you know, at her job, but just the way she interact with her children, with
Yeah.
her husband, you know, it's just it's I'm always so proud of my sister. And then the last one would be my supervisor of women, Dr. Barbara Bryant. She's
Okay.
another boss lady. I mean, just she just wrote another book. And I just think just the way she moves, and I like her balance. She is the epitome of balance because even though she has this high office in the church, she finds
Mhm.
time to spend time with her family. She gonna have them grandkids every week. She goes on vacations. She goes on girls trips with her sisters. So I think she embodies that
Yeah.
that whole package of being balanced. You love God, you preach to people, but you also have time for your family and for yourself.
Right. Right. That's good. That's
Mhm.
good. I
Mhm.
think, I mean, and I'm saying, Ozella said that she appreciates this conversation. Good to have you on here, Ozella. Nice to see you. My friend, my sister said, Shannon, Shannon, she said that her mom was the same way regarding the diagnosis, that she shows us daily what an overcomer looks like. And the reason why
Oh
I
yeah.
asked that question is that I feel like sometimes when, especially when we get in discussions about what we saw, we can
Mhm.
oftentimes filter through the lens of what wasn't.
Mhm.
And I, like you've mentioned, balance. That's the key word that I try to live by, except when I get on the scale. But nevertheless, um, just balance as it relates to understanding what it is. Everything hasn't been bad. And
Mhm.
even when we've seen the not so good things, we can learn from that,
Mhm.
we can grow from that. And so, like when you mentioned about those who have um, Barbara, Evangelist Barbara Bryant, your mom, your sister, I also think about some of the younger women that I'm seeing move, and I think about your niece. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, uh, I want to
Dominique.
say, I said Elizabeth in my head, but Dominique.
Dominique.
But
Yeah.
to see, I mean, there's so many young women. Tiara
Mhm.
Johnson, well now Nevaeh, got her
Mhm.
doctorates in DNP, a nurse practitioner. Like I see
Mhm.
some of these young girls that whether I met them in my work life or met them through, them growing up in childhood and seeing
Mhm.
them grow and prosper, and where they're not trying to be the next Cardi B,
Mhm.
and they're not trying to be a sister wife, because that's another culture that's out there.
Child, that's
But
a.
it's it's a
Okay.
mess, right? But they're also they're subscribing to the narrative of what God has given them to do, their purpose driven life. They're following what is in, and I think that needs to be recognized. I think there's so much that is being cascaded in the negative that we don't celebrate the positive. So I want to go back to empowerment, and I'm
Well,
trying.
I also think too is as far as church goes,
Mhm.
um, and that's another person I should have mentioned that I really have come to really appreciate. My first lady,
I was gonna say,
Lady
I think
Latoya
you're talking about,
Henderson.
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
just the way she moves, and I mean, the young ladies. She likes to impart into the young ladies. I
Mhm.
notice how if she sees a young lady that she doesn't recognize that's new to the church, she makes sure not only that she makes her way to speak to them and make them feel comfortable, but she'll get another young lady to introduce
Yeah,
them to that. So I think that's a form of mentorship right then
absolutely.
and there. And to see how she does that Sunday in and Sunday out, it's amazing. It's really
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
I don't have the typical first lady. I got a working first lady.
Hello. Yeah.
I do.
When okay, so here's the thing that I think is interesting. Um, and I'm gonna be very gentle with this. I believe when you mention about what we saw growing up in church, that
Mm-hmm.
once you get your husband, everything's all right. Well, there's a lot of women who are my age and older who've never been married,
Mm-hmm.
never had children for numerous reasons.
Mm-hmm.
um and some are celebrities. I mean, like, it's a lot of things. It's a different age, different day. Then you have women, a lot of women like myself, degreed homeowners, you name it, like Ariel and Dominique,
Mm-hmm.
all, so many
Mm-hmm.
of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's and understanding, like when you talk about empowerment, we're not talking about feminism. And I think
No.
that's where people get they hear empowerment and they think feminism, they think
Mm-mm.
anti-man, they think,
Mm-mm.
and that's not what it is. It's really
No.
about bringing your whole self,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
saying that I want to be all that God has called me to be. And so when that person walks into my life, if that happens, that
Well,
we do things together, right? Or did I miss that?
yes. Well, it's a different day now because, like I said before, it was like, get married, get married. Now, what I encourage women to do, these young ladies, get your education,
Yeah.
buy you a house. The man gonna be there. You
Hmm.
do that later. You get your education so that because if the man doesn't work out, he cannot take your house. Keep it in your name, ladies. And he
Put
cannot.
it in the
I'm just
trust.
saying,
Put it in a trust.
and put it in the trust. And he
Yeah.
cannot take your education.
Yeah.
If it don't work, it don't work.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be beholden to that because you have nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I encourage you can do all that other. You have time to do that. Get your education and get get your own so that you
Mm.
don't have to be when you get married, it's not because you want to get out the house. You're getting married because you set yourself up to be prepared to be married.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And that, like you said, going in preparation of marriage is knowing yourself,
Mhm.
knowing
That's a
you.
big part of it. And then sometimes you need to go to therapy. There's nothing wrong with it.
Mhm.
It's nothing wrong with a little Bible, a little Jesus, and a little therapy.
Yes, absolutely.
Some,
Great,
some, some
great,
of us
great
need
combination.
therapy. Some of
Great,
us need therapy. We do.
absolutely, absolutely. I agree with that. I think back to I know you and I had talked about this that day. Um, just some of the things we heard and saw growing up from with others in life,
Mm-hmm.
and to see where we are now,
Mm-hmm.
and the such focus emphasis that people used to put on the term first lady or the
Mm-hmm.
epitome of first lady. You made a mention how your sister-in-law is not a typical first lady,
Nope.
like she's, and I think that some things that we've put emphasis on has caused the shakedown and the tear down that we see
Mm-hmm.
in the faith community,
Mm-hmm.
because celebritum or celebridom, there we go, has entered in a way that it shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Arrogance and affluent, like things that should never be a focus,
Mm-hmm.
and understanding that the title isn't the goal, just like marriage shouldn't be the goal,
Mm-mm.
the title shouldn't be the goal. So
Mm-hmm.
how do you help someone in your mentorship, in the ways that you mentor people? How do you help them to, if you see that little thing raising up, that pride raising up, how do you help someone come back to an equilibrium?
Well, I think that that's a good question. I think just being able to have the type of relationship where you could say, look, you need to take it down a notch. You need to take it down a notch. You're doing team too much. You just I'm high strung. So even sometimes my daughter will be like, Mama, that's too much. But you have to be open enough to be able to take that from
Yes.
somebody. If you're not open to that, it doesn't matter. You gonna do what you gonna do. But you have to be open to that. I'll have evolved where I'm open to that. You know, my daughter in a minute she'll be like, Mother, that was not appropriate. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. Oh, she'll check me all the time.
Like,
And sometimes
oops.
she's right. She is right. And you need somebody like that.
Yeah.
You need somebody but you have to be open to receive it.
Yeah. Yeah. That older women teach younger women to be wise, for sure. That is needed. But I'm
Okay,
also,
yeah, it is. But like I said in the beginning of your show, That's
Yeah.
provided that they're wise.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I was going to mention, because I used to subscribe to, if they're older than me, then they must know more than me. And I
No
and
joke.
I'm grateful that you mentioned about Danielle giving you that feedback and trying to help and assist, because I literally, for years, all of my older friends that I had, when they would ask me questions, I'm like, why are you asking me? You older than me, you should know. But also understanding that wisdom has no age barrier.
Age does not equate to wisdom.
Yeah,
It does not equate to wisdom.
yeah.
Because let me tell you, my child used to say some stuff, and she was 2 and 3 years old.
Mm,
She told her daycare provider, they were sitting in the car, and she was going through some stuff,
mm,
you know, and she was just sitting in the car. They had gone to the grocery store, and Danielle had gone with her. Danielle sitting in the back. Now she's 2 years old. She gets out of her car seat and tells her daycare provider, Miss Alice, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. How she know that at 2 years old? And she called me and she was like, Adrienne, I said, what happened? She said, your daughter is wise beyond years. She said, she just told me, Miss Alice, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Put her hand on her shoulder and said, you just got to do what you got to do. And sat back in her car seat like it was nothing. So that's why I say sometimes wisdom doesn't mean because you're older that you're wiser. You're
mm.
supposed to get wiser as you get older, but that doesn't always happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a fair point. I think that's why it's important for us to have community. It's important for us to have fellowship. It's important for us to have these of all demographics be able to share and impart with us,
Well,
and take what's
well,
needed.
I think with the church, they have the women's fellowship, but sometimes to me, the women's fellowship is just, it's not really fellowshipping. The fellowshipping ain't fellowshipping. I'm
Okay.
just saying, it's just a time for y'all to get together and cackle. But what are y'all doing? Well, how are you empowering the ladies? When one of your sisters is in need, are you there for her? Are you reaching out on the phone, calling her? When you should jump into immediate, when one of the sisters in your church is having an issue, you should jump in immediate survival mode. Okay, how can I help you? What are we going to do? What do we need to do? But I don't see that. Women's fellowship is just a time for you to waste my time to come and meet. I could do better things with my Saturday than sit up and watch somebody talk. I'm just being honest. Women's fellowship should be ministry
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
not always a meet and greet.
Listen, I'm smiling because your facial expressions make me laugh. And that's why we were no good sitting by each other in church.
Mhm. Well,
But
I'm just being honest.
no, and that's a real thing, because there has to be intentionality. That's one thing I'm grateful with Be Heal. Like when we do, whether it's the women's conference, and like I have upcoming call that I'm hosting on Saturday, but making sure that it's not just that. It has to be intentional.
And
It
it
has
does
to
and
be
it
empowerment.
and it can't be one day a month.
Yeah.
That should be
That's
women's fellowship should be whenever your sister is in need.
yeah. Yeah.
Whenever your sister needs somebody just to say, you know what, sis, it's gonna be okay.
Hmm.
Women's fellowship is texting somebody saying, hey, sis, I didn't see you at church for a couple Sundays. You good?
Yeah. That check in, that community. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
That's
just
that's big.
saying it's not a once a month thing. It should be it should be your way of life,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we should all be our brother and sisters keepers.
Mhm.
That's not predicated on one day.
Yeah. That's a fair. Listen, you raise a fair point. So, if Emmanuel starts having a new every Saturday, it'd be like, Adrian, they watch the show, and then they.
No, but you know what? Let me tell you something. Our women, we don't have a women's fellowship that we have every month. But when I tell you, if something go down at that church, them
Mhm.
women are lickety Johnny on the spot.
Yeah.
We had a lady that had a medical emergency at church.
Hmm.
Johnny on the spot. Them women was there, Johnny on the spot for her. That's women's fellowship.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. We have a text thread that we
Mm-hmm.
keep with the prayer, like it's prayer requests. And so for those listening, I think it's important when we're talking about empowerment, we're talking about growing and being effective. Some of the things that Adrienne shared tonight is just reality of number one, be balanced.
Mm-hmm.
And then know who you are and make sure that you're building proper community. It's
Mm-hmm.
too much, it's too much isolation being promoted. It's too many being self made. None of us are self made. It's too much of this competition against other people when we're all running our own race. It's too much of demanding something that we can't perform ourselves. It's so we have to get to a place where we cancel out the noise, focus
Mm-hmm.
in on what's real, and do what God has called us to do. So whether you're a young woman, an older woman, young man, older man, whether you are just first time watching Be Hill web show or this has been your multiple times tuning in, it's important for you to gather from this conversation today the importance of one of the main important things that I want to take that I'm taking back. Just because what you saw growing up in the church does not mean that's how God is. God
Mm-hmm.
is holy, God is righteous, God is faithful. So if you saw people doing and saying things that were contrary to what you felt would should have been right and acceptable, do not charge that against the Lord. He's
Mm-hmm.
perfect, he's holy, he's without blame. So talk to him,
Mm-hmm.
build community, get you a therapist if you need it, but
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you stay empowered to make the difference in your own life. And I think that's it's general. It's not hard. It's just we got to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yes. Absolutely.
I know
Ab-
it's the bottom of the eighth, and it's 6 to 4.
don't do that.
I've been having it here, so I'm
I'm
gonna
in consecration
you in
unto God.
concentration.
Hmm.
Your sister
I'm in
said, "Please."
consecration unto God.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
praying He's gonna turn that thing around.
listen, one of the things that we were talking about before we started the show was sports and various things, and I
Mhm.
think that's a like again going back to finding out what it is that you like, right?
Mhm.
Not like Deputy Warden Lewis. Lynn is on here, but devout season ticket holder, right?
Oh yes.
I think Dee Dee and Cameron are season ticket holders too. Like, learning that you can have fun going to the ball game.
Oh
There's so
yes.
many things that finding community and finding your it. I feel like that's one of the reasons why I appreciate having big mentors in my life like you, where I can talk about anything, whether we're talking about sports or things that we seen growing up in church or
Mhm.
relationships and the dynamics of that. Like that's what it's about.
Well, I think if you take anything away from empowerment, you have to be happy with being with you.
Facts.
That might
Big.
that and just because you're not married doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything wrong with you.
Not a
It
thing.
might mean that God is just preparing you
Mhm.
for that awesome man that's going to be in your life. Or you just way too fabulous that God got to have you come down to before he can put somebody with you, because it's not just you, it's the person that you get with. Will they be able to handle you?
Yeah.
See, my sister been married over 30 years. baby, it take a my brother in love. I love him because he takes good care of the boss lady. But the boss lady is a boss lady, and she like what she like,
Hmm.
and it's no color coding it. So
Yeah.
for him to be able to take care of her all these years, but that's what was set up for her.
Right.
The
Right.
average man can't handle my sister.
Oh
No,
no.
no, ma'am. They're not ready.
Mm-mm.
They're not ready.
Mm-mm.
So I feel like if you don't take anything else from this, one, balance. You got to
Yeah.
have balance. It ain't all hallelujah, hickamasai. You got to have balance. Two, you got to know who you are and be happy with you. I love me. I love my me time. I take it every chance I get. Adrienne loves Adrienne. I just do. I love to take Adrian out to dinner. I love to take Adrian shopping. Oh, love it. I absolutely love it. It's essential. It's essential.
It is for sure. I
Yes.
mean, look, I take Camille to her. I'm trying to do weekly, but right now it's been monthly massages. Definitely trips and various things, and like you said, getting to know yourself.
See, for
Um,
me, my thing is I like to bowl. I love to bowl. That's my
yeah,
thing. That's the thing that me and my husband do together. I like to
yeah,
bowl. I like sports. My brother is a chaplain for the Lakers,
yes,
so
he is.
yes, I love sports. So if I between him and my sister, I can get me some very very nice tickets to
Take
any
me with
sport,
you.
the Dodgers or the Lakers.
I just asked, take me with you because I'm your favorite.
Oh
Okay,
yes,
for
yes.
the
So,
record.
but yeah, I just think that if you and it's good. It's if you can't afford a therapist, just getting, and I think the big thing is I like journaling. That's my
Yeah.
thing. I like to journal, and um that's a
Therapy and
source
release.
of therapy. I
Yeah.
started journaling when my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Okay.
That's when I started journaling
Yeah.
because I wanted to say, I had some things that I wanted to say to her, and I wrote them down just in
Mhm.
case something happened where she didn't make it. I didn't want to not have those words. So, but thank God I didn't have to, I could tell her in person. So,
That's right.
um, but yeah, I think it's real important, that it's really, really important that you find, like you said, what you like.
Yeah.
And you can't be somebody because you trying to get somebody. You got to be who you are.
Right.
If they like you, they gonna have to. My husband take me for all this fluffiness that I am. That what you get, what you see is what you get.
Facts.
Like I'm cutting up on here, I cut up like this all the time.
I think we did very. I think we were very demure tonight.
Conversation is straight, no chaser.
Absolutely. That I had to put that in the title for it. I was like, this is how we talk. This and
All
even
the time.
and
I
even
temper it depending on who the audience is, but
right.
yes,
That's what I was saying. Like even now, like tonight, like knowing
I'm a
like
comedian.
you are like we. I
Yes.
was gonna say the last time we was in church together, but we're not gonna bring that
Won't you
up
do
tonight.
it? Yes.
Not gonna
I
bring that
love
up.
Jesus, but I love to have fun. And I find that most of I think for me being in church so long, I find solace in knowing that even though some of the stuff that I grew up seeing in church was ridiculous, that I still love Jesus.
Yeah,
And
me
I
too.
still love working in the church. I do. I still love working in the church. I work for my brother, and I enjoy it. And I think for me, um, I'm just an event planner at heart because I just find myself, even when I'm at other people's events, I find where I see holes and I can fix it. But again, my daughter will tell me, Mom, this is not your event.
Mhm.
Everybody doesn't do like you do. Leave it alone. And I've learned to do that.
Absolutely.
Yes, I've learned to do that to an extent.
She said to an extent. I think
To
that's
an,
you're the oldest child, so you're always going to be that commanding force, because
I am that commanding force.
yeah,
I'm the one that texts all the grandkids. Look, it's your granny and papa's anniversary. You better text them.
yeah.
So then I'll call my parents and be like, did so and so, did so and so, did so and so. If I didn't hear all of them, I'm on the phone. Why didn't you text your grandparents happy anniversary? It's so and so birthday. I just, yeah, that's me.
I mean, listen, the roll call has to be called. But one of the things
Absolutely.
I just want to take this moment as we get ready to close out on tonight. I just want to say, first of all, and I tell you this often, so it's not new to you, but it is season 6 premiere. I want to tell you publicly how much I appreciate you, your sister, your brother, Dee Dee, and God rest Demetrius' soul. Because
Mhm.
growing up, you all were
The
our
Fab Five.
models. Yeah, y'all were our
Fab.
model. Especially when it came down to academia,
Mhm.
it was you all that were pursuing. I think both of you and Lynn went to Cal Poly, so y'all was repping the Broncos.
Mhm.
I never saw a time in I can think of growing up in church over open door, ever seeing or hearing anything negative about any of the 5 of you. You all were always dressed to the nines, and we're talking about in the early 90s, late 80s. Y'all always looked good. All hair was always together. I looked at that. I can remember,
Mhm.
even though growing up, you all seemed so far away in age to us, or it's
Mhm.
definitely, let me say, to me. But
Mhm.
I saw you all. I was so happy when y'all would come through the church. Y'all would be singing. Y'all would do that. I'm like, oh my God, we about to have fun today. Like, look at them. But one of the things that you all didn't know that I was watching is not just your pursuit in being the best you,
Mhm.
but also owning the space of who you are.
Mhm.
And I struggled with low self-esteem for many years. I'm now 40,
Mhm.
and it was late 39 that I began to really truly love myself,
Mhm.
independent of anything,
Mhm.
independent of anyone, truly love, not being in my own head. And I just want to say thank you for being the models that you, Dee Dee, and Lynn and Sunny, and God rest Demetrius. So you all have always just marched to your own beat. You all have always, you paved the way to show that it can happen. You can get that good job. You can have this healthiness, like your resilience that I've seen, in your strength, and not only taking care of your parents. I look at you and what I do with my parents. I'm like, I learned from Adrian, because it's being alert and attentive and aware and embracing and being close to family. I just want to say thank you. When there's people in your life who model such excellence that you can admire. I'm not trying to imitate you. I'm not trying to emulate you. I just want to say thank you for you being you, for helping this young girl who's now an older girl be who she needs to be, and embracing that, and being that model. Thank you. You
Mhm.
have empowered me. You have encouraged me. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being the person that I call to go axe throwing with. Because I said, if anybody's going to see this, it's going to be her and Chris, So I just want to say thank you, because your impact, I don't know if everybody knows the impact that they make in other person's lives. And I just want
Mhm.
to let you all know that the Hindi clan, the Togo clan, man, you all have played such instrumental roles in my life. But I have you on here right now. I just want to tell you thank you, because you talk about empowering the younger generation.
Mhm.
Just want to let you know you've been successful, and I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Y'all,
It's been
listen,
a pleasure.
Well, listen, you always welcome. Now, I I just believe the Dodgers will pull this off if you sing before
Mm-mm.
we get off of here. Just a few bars of "He keeps on doing great things."
Can I sing a song I want to sing?
Okay, what you want to sing?
Cause see, I'm in warfare right now because these Dodgers is losing. The devil is a liar. Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
yeah.
The Yankees won't win. No, no, no,
No,
no,
no,
no, no.
no,
Mm-mm.
no.
Oh, Jesus. This
Ah, I love you so much.
it's over. It's 10 to
Is
4.
it?
Jesus.
Is it?
Yeah, it
When
is.
did that happen?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's okay. It's okay.
All right. It's all right because you know
We don't
what?
got to, we don't, it's probably best. It's
Yeah,
orchestrated this way
the
so that we
Lord
can
said
win at
yes.
home.
Yes, and
We
we
don't
could
give
just
them one. We can't. That'd be too too
yeah,
much. That'd be too much to sweep.
yeah,
That would just be just throwing like blowing boo boo in their face. So
right,
we gonna give them one. We gonna
yeah.
give them one. We'll give them one. That's
But
it.
we'll see. I mean, we'll see. We'll text Mookie and Freddie and see what they say because
I'm over it.
there's still time on the clock.
Yeah, it
There's
is. We'll see what
still
happens.
a lot more game, and I'm gonna turn it off now because I
Mm,
don't want my pressure to go.
mm,
But Lynn, we love you. I just want to tell y'all if you ever are in need of let me just start here. If you need a church home, if you need a church home and you're in the Los Angeles area, Emmanuel Church of God in Christ,
Yes,
pastored by
Emmanuel Church of
the
God in Christ, 1399
yeah,
East 33rd Street,
there we
Los
go.
Angeles, California. If you
That's
want to hear a word, Bishop Ulysses Henderson Jr. is an awesome, awesome, awesome man of God, and he gonna give it to you straight. And
yeah.
he's gonna meet you where you are.
And we love him for that, and him and Lady Latoya. And let's
Yes,
see,
indeed.
if you are wanting to join a bowling league, you know, reach out to Adrienne Henderson Sutton. You gonna have to
Come
go.
down to Boleum Lanes on Wednesday
There
nights
we go.
at 7 p.m. in Mount Clair, California. You will
There we
see me
see.
there.
I'm trying to hit all of. And if you need a coordinator for any upcoming event, party,
All
uh,
that coordinating at gmail.com.
see, and that's how we do that's how we do our own ad drops. Amen.
Yes. Shameless, shameless. I love it.
But it's been a great time having each and every one of you tune in. Thank you, Lynn. I as soon as I can, whenever your schedule allows you, Deputy Warden Lewis, to come on and hang out with us. Would love to pick your brain. You're doing amazing things over at Chino Women's
She
Prison,
is. You
and
need to have her on.
yeah,
Definitely.
I've been trying. I reached out to Bishop Ulysses, wanted to get him on. I know
Mhm.
his schedule is hectic,
Well,
so
Tuesday nights are Bible study night.
oh, that the chaplain when he's doing chaplain.
No,
Okay.
that's our
Oh,
regular
your Bible
church
study.
Bible study night. Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So I'll have to see when I can get him on. But you know, it's
You can
always
always record it.
yeah, I'm gonna try to get them recorded. Got to see what date and time is available. So
Mhm.
we'll definitely connect. And Debbie Warren says she's there. I appreciate it. Thank you, each and every one of you tuning in. If you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit like and follow. Share this with someone else. And listen, build your community, guys. We're not supposed to be islands. We're better
Mhm.
together. And
And
just
we're
make sure
definitely not garbage islands either. Mhm.
that's a mess. You know what I want,
Moving
what I do
on.
want to say. Right, right. As I hang up, you know what I do want to say though? Ain't it
Hmm.
funny how folks talk crazy on microphones? That's all I
But
want.
they won't say that to your face though.
You know, remember that one time? I'm just playing. Now I gotta get off here. But Adrian,
Mhm.
you can hang out with me for a second. Everyone else, please know that I love you. God bless you. Next time I get on here, if the Lord allows, it will be the month of November. The time would have changed. We would have gone back an hour. And all I can say as we enter into another new month, God, I thank you, because it
Mm-hmm.
didn't have to be that way. So
Mm-hmm.
why don't y'all go in peace, go in joy, go in love. Just, man, have a great week. And until we meet again next time on the same Be Healed channel, Be Healed time at 7 p.m. on Tuesday nights, God bless you and see you soon. Take care.